The Galactic Council chamber floated quietly near a bright blue star. It was a massive structure, older than most civilizations. Rings of metal and light surrounded it, slowly turning in space. Inside, the chamber stretched wider than any city on Earth. Tier after tier of platforms held the leaders of the galaxy. Hundreds of alien species were present. Some were ancient empires that had ruled for tens of thousands of years. Some were machine minds older than stars. Some were war species that had ended entire civilizations with a single command. This council decided trade, war, peace, and extinction. And today, they were bored. A glowing hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It slowly formed one word in clear galactic script. Ha 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 ha. Hiradinidi. Soft laughter echoed through the chamber. To the council, humans were not exciting. They were familiar, predictable. One council member, a tall reptilian ruler wrapped in gold armor, spoke first. Humans are emotional, he said calmly. They fight among themselves more than with others. Another voice followed, smooth and mechanical. They are divided, the machine intelligence added. Too many governments, too many beliefs. A third leader, ancient and slow-moving, waved a clawed hand. They are young, she said. Their species has barely touched the stars. Others joined in. Too loud, too unstable, too weak to rule themselves. The council agreed on one thing. Humans were useful, but not important. Humans were useful, but not important. Humans traded well. Humans rebuilt worlds after wars. Humans sent aid where others did not bother. But power? No. Humans did not have real power. The council moved forward with the meeting. A proposal appeared on the hologram. Cold, legal, final. A new galactic law. Earth would be required to give up military independence. Human fleets would be permanently monitored by the council. Human expansion beyond current borders would be forbidden. It was explained clearly. For the safety of the galaxy, the council declared. There was no debate. The vote was quick. Lights across the chamber turned green. The decision passed. The order was sent to Earth. Across the galaxy, officials waited for the human response. They expected many things. Angry speeches from human leaders. Emergency meetings broadcast across networks. Threats. Negotiations. Plays. Humans always talked. Humans always argued. Humans always tried to reason. So the council waited. Minutes passed. Nothing. No reply came from Earth. No angry messages. No protests. No protests. No fear signal. The council barely noticed it first. Delays, one leader said. They are emotional. They need time. Hours passed. Still nothing. Human channels remained quiet. Embassies across the galaxy stayed closed. Human diplomats did not appear. No emergency transmissions were detected. A junior council aide shifted nervously. This is unusual, he said carefully. Several leaders turned toward him. Humans panic, one council member replied. This silence means nothing. But the silence means nothing. But the silence continued. Then, finally, a message arrived. Not from a human ambassador. Not from a fleet commander. Just a single, clean transmission. The chamber quieted as the message appeared on the hologram. It contained only 2 lines. Humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council. Do not contact us again. That was all. No explanation, no anger, no threat, no emotion. The chamber froze. Some leaders laughed at first. A tantrum, one said. They will return. Another added. Humans always return. Another added. Humans always return. But something felt wrong. Within hours, reports arrived. Human embassies across council space shut down. Human trade offices closed without warning. Human fleets left shared patrol routes calmly and in perfect order. No chaos, no resistance, no farewell messages, just quiet withdrawal. A council historian spoke softly. Human records show that they always argue before leaving any alliance. Another leader frowned. This time they did not argue. Sensors confirmed it. Human communication networks went dark. Their diplomatic frequencies vanished. Entire systems stopped broadcasting. Not destroyed, not damaged, simply silent. The laughter in the chamber faded. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council felt something unfamiliar, unease. The silence was not normal. Silence was not human. Humans shouted. Humans debated. Humans protested. But this was different. A senior council member leaned forward. They did not resist, he said slowly. They did not beg. They did not threaten. The blue star outside the chamber flared softly, casting long shadows across the council floor. No one spoke, because deep down, every leader in the chamber felt the same thought forming. Something had gone wrong, not because humanity was weak, but because humanity had chosen to leave, and no one knew why. The Galactic Council did not panic, not at first. After the human message faded from the hologram, the chambers slowly filled with sound again. Quiet voices, low laughter, confident tones. They are bluffing, said a tall avian ruler, his feathers shining with status markings. Humans are dramatic. Silence is their newest trick. Several council members agreed. Humans need us, said a trade lord whose empire controlled half the shipping lanes. They will return once they feel the pressure. A military commander leaned back in his throne. They have no choice, he said. Their fleets are outdated. Their borders are exposed. They cannot survive alone. The council voted again. This time, they decided to wait. Let humanity calm down. Let them feel isolated. Let fear bring them back. Days passed. Human space remained silent. Trade routes that once glowed with activity began to dim. Human cargo ships stopped arriving. Repair crews did not answer calls. Supply contracts went unfulfilled. At first, this caused only mild irritation. Then came the reports. Pirate attacks increased near former human patrol zones. Border worlds lost protection. Old conflicts, once kept quiet by human mediation, began to flare again. A junior analyst stood before the council, holding a data tablet with shaking hands. Human fleets are moving, he said. The chamber grew interested. Toward us? A council member asked. The analyst swallowed. No, he said. They are moving inward. A hologram activated. Human ships were pulling back from shared borders, not in panic, not in disorder. Perfect formations, clean routes, no pursuit. They are abandoning systems, someone said. No, the analyst replied quietly. They are closing them. The images changed. Human mining stations were dismantled piece by piece. Shipyards were stripped and scuttled. Navigation beacons were removed, not destroyed. Nothing was left behind. They are erasing their footprint, the analyst said. The council laughed again, but softer this time. So they retreat, said a warlord species leader. That proves our point. But the analyst did not look relieved. There is more, he said. Human research stations vanished next. Listening posts went dark. Deep space relays were shut down in perfect order. No explosions, no distress calls, no refugees. Just removal. They are not retreating under pressure, the analyst continued. They are executing a plan. A council elder frowned. What plan? The analyst hesitated. We don't know, he said. That is the problem. Days turned into weeks. The galaxy began to feel the absence of humanity more clearly. A border world sent a request for mediators. No reply. A damaged trade hub asked for emergency engineers. No reply. A neutral system, once protected by human patrols, was attacked. No human ships arrived. The council began to receive complaints. Trade empires lost profits. Border rulers lost stability. Minor wars broke out again. Humans had been everywhere, not as rulers, not as conquerors, but as buffers. They spoke when others threatened. They repaired when others ignored. They endured when others demanded. And now, they were gone. A council member finally asked the question no one wanted to ask. What if they don't come back? The chamber went quiet. That is impossible, another leader said quickly. Humans always negotiate. But the data told a different story. Human colonies were going dark, but not destroyed. Energy use dropped to controlled levels. Civilian traffic vanished from public routes. Humanity was not collapsing. Humanity was sealing itself off. A council scout fleet was ordered to approach a former human system. Just to observe, just to confirm. The fleet arrived at the edge of the system. What they found was unexpected. New structures surrounded the system's border. Not weapons firing, not shields glowing, just silent machines watching. Sensors struggled to read them. The scout fleet did not cross the line. They sent a report and turned back. For the first time, a council fleet returned without answers. In the council chamber, confidence began to crack. This is inefficient behavior, said a machine intelligence. Humans do not normally act this way. A military leader clenched his claws. They are hiding something. A trade lord whispered something worse. What if we were wrong about their strength? The thought spread like poison, not spoken loudly, but felt. The council had always believed humans were weak because they endured. They never shouted for power. They never demanded control. They never forced others to obey. They endured. Now they had stopped, and endurance, once removed, revealed something dangerous. Choice. The council called an emergency session. This time the laughter did not return. Outside the chamber, the blue star burned quietly. Inside, the Galactic Council began to understand a simple truth. Silence was not surrender. Silence was distance, and distance meant humanity was no longer listening. The galaxy did not collapse all at once. At first, the absence of humanity felt small, almost unimportant. A delayed shipment here, a missed repair crew there, a negotiation that never received a reply. The Galactic Council told itself this was temporary. Humans are dramatic, many leaders said. They will return once they feel alone. But weeks turned into months, and the empty spaces grew. Trade lanes once filled with human ships became quiet. Old cargo routes lost traffic. Stations that depended on human engineers began to fail slowly. Life support systems malfunctioned. Orbital rings cracked. Deep space refineries shut down one by one. Requests for help were sent. No answer came back. On a border world, near a former human patrol zone, pirates attacked a civilian convoy. The world sent an emergency distress call, expecting the familiar human response. No ships arrived. The pirates returned again the next week. Then again, soon, entire systems realized something had changed. Humans were no longer watching. Minor wars began to return. Conflicts that humans once calmed with words and presence grew violent again. Old grudges resurfaced. Border lines shifted in blood. The Galactic Council received reports every day. Instability was spreading. A council historian stood before the chamber with a long record display. For over 2 centuries, she said, humans served as neutral ground. She showed images. Human diplomats standing between enemies. Human medical ships arriving after alien wars. Human engineers rebuilding cities that were not their own. They did not rule, she continued. They stabilized. The council did not like the word. Stabilize meant important, and humans were not supposed to be important. A military commander interrupted. Enough history, he said. Where are they now? The answer was unclear. Scouts set near human borders reported the same thing. Human space was shrinking but becoming denser. Old colonies vanished from charts. New signatures appeared deep within human territory. Energy readings spiked and then disappeared. Humans were not fleeing outward. They were going deeper. A junior sensor officer noticed something strange. Human traffic patterns no longer matched civilian behavior, he said. What does that mean? A council member asked. It means, the officer replied slowly, they are moving like a military, but without showing it. Human ships did not travel on public lanes. They avoided known routes. They used unknown jump paths. Even when observed, their designs had changed. Hull shapes were different. Energy output was controlled and quiet. Weapon signatures were hidden, not absent. The council did not like hidden. Hidden meant preparation. A trade empire leader slammed his hand on the table. This is costing us profit, he said. Force them to reopen communication. The council voted again. A formal request was sent to Earth. It was polite, respectful, calm. No reply. Another message was sent. Stronger wording. Legal warnings. No reply. A third message followed. Threatening trade sanctions. No reply. The messages were not rejected. They simply vanished. As if no one was listening. On a distant system once protected by human forces, a war broke out between 2 rival species. It escalated quickly. Entire cities burned. The survivors sent a final plea. To humanity, the message said. Please, help us. The transmission reached the edge of human space. It stopped there. No response came. The council watched the system fall. It was the first time the council realized the truth. Humanity had not left because they were afraid. They had left because they were done. A council elder, ancient and rarely speaking, finally rose. For centuries, the elder said, we believed humans endured because they were weak. The chamber listened. But endurance is not weakness, the elder continued. Endurance is patience. Patience ends The elder gestured toward the dark human borders on the hologram. When patience ends, he said, only choice remains. Fear spread quietly, not panic, not yet. Just understanding. Human silence was not empty. It was intentional. A Council scout fleet was ordered again to approach human space. This time, closer. The fleet stopped at the border. A new signal appeared instantly. Not aggressive, not loud, just clear. This region is closed. Turn back. No species identification, no threat, just instruction. The fleet commander hesitated. What happens if we don't? He asked. There was a pause. Then the signal repeated. Unchanged, calm. The fleet turned away. Back in the council chamber, no one laughed. The galaxy felt colder, larger, more dangerous, because the species that once filled the gaps was gone, and the space they left behind was not empty. It was waiting. The Galactic Council could no longer pretend. Human silence was no longer just absence. It had become a wall. An emergency council session was called. The chamber filled faster than usual. No laughter echoed this time. No casual voices. Every leader watched the central hologram carefully. Human space glowed dark and dense on the map. A military commander spoke first. We will not attack, he said. We will approach. We will observe. We will remind humanity who controls the galaxy. Several leaders nodded. A council fleet was assembled. Not a war fleet. A demonstration fleet. Dozens of ships. Old but powerful. Symbolic. The kind of force used to remind smaller species of their place. The fleet moved toward the nearest sealed human border. As it traveled, sensors detected something strange. Human space was quiet, no traffic, no civilian signals, no background noise, just silence. But the silence was not empty. It was controlled. The fleet slowed as it reached the border. Ships aligned weapons and shields, but did not power them fully. This is Council Fleet Theta. The commander transmitted. We are entering for inspection. No reply came. The fleet crossed the line. Nothing happened. No attack. No alarm shots. No alarms. The commander relaxed slightly. Proceed, he ordered. Then the sensors screamed. Human structures appeared without warning. Not stations. Not ships. Something else. Massive shapes unfolded from darkness. Angular. Heavy. Silent. They surrounded the fleet in perfect formation. No engines burned. No weapons charged. They were simply there. The council fleet froze. A signal opened on every screen at once. Clear, calm, human. You were instructed to turn back. The commander swallowed. This space belongs to the Galactic Council, he replied. You cannot deny inspection. There was a pause. Then the reply came again. Unchanged. This space is closed. One of the council officers whispered, weapons. The commander hesitated. Every instinct told him not to fire. These structures, a sensor officer reported, they are not locking weapons. What are they doing? The commander asked. They are locking us. The fleet's navigation systems failed. Jump drives shut down. Communications jammed. Power levels capped. The human structures still did nothing. They did not threaten. They did not move closer. They simply waited. The commander made the only choice left. Council fleet? Theta is withdrawing, he announced. The moment the fleet turned back, systems returned to normal. The human structures faded into darkness. No pursuit followed. The fleet escaped. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the report caused panic. They disabled a council fleet without firing, one leader said. That technology does not exist, another shouted. But it does. A machine intelligence replied quietly. They were simply not showing it before. The council demanded answers. A formal demand was sent to Earth. This time it was not ignored. A human representative appeared, not in person. A hologram. The figure stood calmly. Human. Plain. No armor. No symbols. No fear. You violated our border, the human said. Do not do it again. A council leader leaned forward. You are in no position to issue commands, he said. You left the council. You abandoned protection. The human's expression did not change. We did not abandon protection, he said. We ended permission. The chamber erupted in voices. What are you hiding? What are you building? Who do you think you are? The human waited. Silence returned. For centuries, the human continued. We were told we were weak. No anger, no pride, just fact. So we learned, he said. The council demanded explanations. The human gave one. We endured while we prepared, he said. We stabilized while you exploited. Images appeared behind him. Human fleets. Vast. Quiet. Advanced. Structures far larger than Council records allowed. Species standing beside humans, silent allies the Council had ignored. You believed we stayed because we needed you, the human said. We stayed because you needed us. The Council went still. Now, the human continued, we do not. A Council elder spoke softly. What do you want? The human looked directly at the chamber. Nothing, he said. That is the problem. The hologram faded. Human space went dark again. The Council sat in silence. They had lost control. Not through war, not through rebellion, but through choice. Humanity had closed the door, and the galaxy was on the outside. The Galactic Council did not sleep. Not after the human message ended. Emergency sessions replaced routine meetings. Leaders who once ruled with calm confidence now argued openly. Old rivals sat side by side, united by a single fear. Humanity was no longer beneath them. And worse, humanity no longer cared. Trade reports filled the chamber. Entire supply chains had collapsed. Worlds that depended on human engineers were failing. Neutral zones once kept peaceful by human presence were now battlefields. A Council analyst stood before the chamber, voice tight. Human trade made up nearly 40% of stabilizing routes, he said. Not dominance. Stability, a warlord leader snarled. So they were parasites. The analyst shook his head. No, he said. They were anchors. The word echoed. Anchors. The galaxy had drifted while humans held the line. Now the line was gone. Military reports followed. Council fleets avoided human borders. Sensor drones vanished without signals. Attempts to copy human technology failed completely. A machine intelligence processed the data. Human advancement curves were hidden, it announced. They limited themselves deliberately. Why? A Council member demanded. The answer came from a Council historian. Because if they advanced openly, she said, they would have been stopped. The chamber went quiet. That truth settled heavily. Humanity had stayed small on purpose, not because they were weak, but because they were patient. A secret Council vote was called. One proposal dominated the discussion. Forced submission, a coalition strike, overwhelming numbers. End the problem before it grew. The vote was close, very close. Then a final report arrived. A long-range scout had reached the edge of deep human territory. What it recorded changed everything. The hologram activated. Vast structures filled the display. Human-built, but nothing like before. Massive shipyards hidden inside artificial nebulae. Fleets larger than entire Council armadas. Weapon systems that bent space itself. And something worse. Other species were there. Not conquered. Not enslaved. Standing beside humans. Silent. Advanced. Dangerous. These species were listed as minor. A Council leader whispered. They were, the historian replied. Until humans found them, the machine intelligence ran probability models. Outcome of direct war, it announced. Unacceptable. How unacceptable? How unacceptable? Someone asked. Galactic collapse, it answered. Fear spread openly now. A Council elder stood. For the first time, he said, we must speak to humans not as rulers, but as equals. A message was prepared. Not an order, not a threat, a request. It was sent carefully. And this time, humanity answered. The human representative returned. Same calm face. Same steady voice. You asked to speak, the human said. The elder did not waste time. Why did you leave? He asked. The human paused. When you voted to control us, he said, you proved something. What? The elder asked. That you would never see us as partners, the human replied. Only tools. Images appeared. Human colonies destroyed in old border wars. Human fleets sacrificed to stop larger conflicts. Human worlds rebuilt others while their own suffered. We endured, the human said, because endurance protected everyone. The Council listened in silence. But endurance has a limit, he continued. The elder's voice was quiet. What happens now? The human looked at the chamber. Now, he said, we protect ourselves. No trade? A Council leader asked. No patrade? A Council leader asked. No patrols? Another said. No mediation? A third whispered. The human nodded. We will not harm you, he said. But we will not save you. The word struck harder than any threat. The elder bowed his head slightly. Is there any path back? he asked. The human thought for a long moment. Not yet, he said. Trust takes time. The hologram faded again. Silence returned to the chamber. But this time, it was not human silence. It was fear. The council realized something too late. Humanity had not risen suddenly. Humanity had been rising quietly for centuries, and now they stood above the galaxy, not as rulers, but as something far worse. Observers. Time passed. The galaxy did not end in fire or sudden war. It weakened slowly. Without humanity, systems that once felt stable began to crack. Old alliances failed. Trade routes became dangerous. Worlds that depended on peace learned how fragile peace truly was. The Galactic Council still existed, but it was no longer feared. Council fleets stayed close to their core worlds. No one wanted to be the first to test human borders again. No one wanted to repeat the mistake. Human space remained closed. No ships entered. No signals crossed. No threats were sent. Just silence. But it was no longer ignored. Across the galaxy, stories spread. Merchant captains whispered about invisible borders that shut down engines. Explorers spoke of human fleets watching from deep space, never approaching. Pirates vanished when they crossed the wrong line. Humanity was not hunting anyone. Humanity was watching. On a distant council world, a small war erupted between two rival species. In the past, humans would have arrived, not with weapons, but with words, aid, and pressure. This time, no one came. The war burned until both sides were exhausted. The survivors understood the lesson too late. Elsewhere, an ancient threat returned from dark space. A species once pushed back by combined galactic effort began to move again. Council fleets gathered. They failed. Losses were heavy. Systems fell. A desperate message was prepared. It was not sent to the Council. It was sent toward human space. The message was simple. We were wrong. We need help. The transmission reached the border and stopped. Days passed. No answer came. Not because humanity did not hear it, but because humanity had already decided. In human space, life was different. Human worlds were quiet, but strong. Cities expanded inward, protected by layers of technology the galaxy had never seen. Children grew up without fear of council law or foreign control. Human fleets trained constantly, not for conquest, for defense. The leaders of humanity watched the galaxy carefully. They remembered every vote, every insult, every law made without their voice. They remembered walking away, and they remembered why. A young human officer once asked a senior commander a question. Will we ever go back? She asked. The commander looked at the stars. Maybe, he said, but not until the galaxy learns. Learns what? She asked. That silence is not weakness, he replied. It is a warning. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the seats were emptier now. Some species had fallen. Others had withdrawn, copying humanity's example. The elder who once spoke for peace stood alone before the council. We were not ready, he said quietly. No one argued. We thought power meant control, he continued. Humans showed us. Power can also mean restraint. Records were updated. The moment humanity left the council was marked as the beginning of a new era. Not the rise of humans, but the fall of arrogance. Future generations would study it. They would learn that humanity did not win a war. Humanity refused to fight one. And that choice changed everything. The galaxy learned a final truth. Humanity had been holding the line not because they were ordered to, but because they chose to. And when that choice was taken for granted, humanity walked away. The stars remained. The galaxy continued. But it was no longer protected. Not by force. Not by fear. And not by humans.